Well, hello there. Welcome to my channel, and if you've been here for a while, you'll notice that this is looking a little different. Today, I'm bringing you into my actual home office because I'm taking you deep behind the scenes of my business. In this video, I'm going to share with you a year in review of my 2019 business year. I've been writing year in reviews since 2016. However, this is my very first video review. So if you want to catch any of the previous year in reviews, head to my blog at elisedarma.com. When I do these year in reviews, I go deep. I share with you all my numbers. I'm talking revenue, expenses, profit, how much I traveled, how much I spent on ads, how many people work with me. So if you're interested in going deep behind the scenes of a multiple six-figure online business, this video is for you. And stay tuned until the end where I'm going to share with you all my numbers. I'm talking revenue, expenses, profit. I just got caught up on my bookkeeping this past weekend, so everything's up to date. And at the end, I'm taking you behind the scenes and sharing it all. I'm Elise Darma, and I've helped thousands, literally thousands of entrepreneurs like yourself, hint, hint, stay to the end for the exact number, to use Instagram as a revenue stream in your business. And in today's video, I'm taking you deep behind the scenes of my own business so that you can see what really goes on behind the scenes. As flashy and sexy as it might look on Instagram, I'm showing you the real and the raw stuff. Before I get started, I want to make one small caveat, and it's this. I'm going to be transparent. I'm going to share with you all my numbers, my lessons learned, the good, the bad, the ugly, but this really is just scratching the surface of what it takes to run an online business. So for you to continue your learning, be sure to subscribe to my channel right now and hit the bell so that you don't miss any future videos like this one. All right, without further ado, let's dive into what went well in 2019, what didn't go so well, what I'm working towards in 2020, and my theme for 2020. Let's talk about what went well for me in 2019, and feel free to use the same format. I highly recommend it. I've used it since 2016, and it's great for reflecting on your business. So the very first thing that went well for me in 2019 was team and systems. Yay! Not the sexiest thing. I'm not leading with, big revenue numbers, but truly this was the year that I invested more in my team than ever before, thanks to making a full-time hire. And with that, it meant I had to get really organized as a CEO. So I brought in systems, tools, and processes so that I was actually an organized CEO. There's nothing like paying someone a full-time salary on your team to make you stop and make sure, am I organized enough for this person? I'm asking them to invest all their time in me and my business. Am I worthy of it? So working on my team and my systems was the number one thing that was great in 2019. And I do have to give a shout out to Clockwork, which is a book written by Mike Mikowitz and a program run by my friend Adrian Dorson. So I did invest in the live Clockwork coaching program this past year, and it really, really helped my business. I'll link you to the book right below this video, but the program was a 9-month commitment, and it really made me look at my team and my systems and where I was losing money in the business. The results from clockworking my business resulted in the second thing that went well in my business, which was we maintained our profit margin of about 20%, but revenue increased by about 14%. For a little context, last year's revenue was $350,000. We had a 14% increase this year, so you do the math. The best part about this is because we increased our revenue by about 14% and kept our profit margin at 20%, that actually meant we had more money left in the business, which ultimately meant that I was able to give myself a raise. Yay! So last year, if you read my income reports, I was paying myself generally between $3,000 and $4,000 a month, I believe. And in 2019, I was able to give myself a raise, a salary of anywhere between $6,000 and $8,000 a month. Now, steady profit is something that I'm actually really proud of because we reinvested so much money back into the business this year. I'm talking ads, we created way more free content than usual, and of course, hiring team members. So the fact that we were able to keep our profit margin relatively healthy, I'm super happy about. That leads me to the third thing that went well in 2019, which was launching this YouTube channel. Yay! Okay, I'll stop doing the yays. Launching a channel on YouTube was something that I've wanted to do since literally 2016 when I bought my very first online course, and it was all about YouTube for business. But it wasn't until 2019 that I actually put the systems and the processes and the team members in place to make this happen. So we went from like 300 subscribers earlier this year to 5,500 subscribers by the end of 2019. I'm super proud of this accomplishment because it's not just me who creates this channel. I have a content manager and a videographer. So together, the three of us have really created what is one of my favorite parts of my business now. With YouTube, it was kind of a slow burn initially, but I'm really loving the momentum that we've seen since the end of 2019, and it's just making me more excited to produce more videos. So if you're here watching and subscribed, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. The fourth thing that went well for me in my business was I hosted a retreat in Bali way back in the beginning of 2019. It feels like it was so long ago, but this was a success for me because honestly, nothing dramatic happened. No one died. Everyone had a great time. That experience had brought its challenges for me. I made such a stupid mistake right when the retreat started. I forgot to cancel a hotel booking. So day one of the retreat, I looked at my credit card and I had a $6,000 charge from a hotel. So I just remember it being kind of a stressful time, and I was a little stressed the whole time. I felt the pressure of hosting people from all around the world and making sure that people were getting a lot of value and applying it to their business, but also enjoying Bali and having a nice time. So looking back, all in all, I'm happy that I did it. That was my last retreat that I've hosted. And right now we don't really have plans to host future retreats. You never know, I might bring retreats back, but for now they're just not an active part of my business. The other pro of hosting the retreat was I got to work from Indonesia for about 4 weeks in the dead of Toronto winter. So that's always a win in my books. The fifth thing that went well in 2019 was we really invested in creating case studies all about our students. My business is at a point now where it's really less about my personal success and it's more about the success of my students. So we're really proud to have featured some star students from my programs. They cover so many niches and industries. We have copywriting, real estate, medical aesthetics, business coaching, digital marketing, and photography. So our big goal in 2019 was to showcase that Instagram can work for many types of businesses. And I think that our case studies really highlight that. The best part, just from these 6 students alone, they have generated over $227,000 in revenue. That's crazy. At the end of the video, I'm gonna share with you my total number of course students, but just from 6 people alone, mind blown. The next thing that went really well for me in 2019 was I actually didn't live launch. At the beginning of 2019, I was obsessed with my funnel, and I pretty much spent the majority of the year tweaking and testing my funnel, which meant that I never really live launched my course. So it was a cool exercise in generating revenue without ever having to do a big launch, which can be exhausting if you've ever done one. But at the same time, it makes me wonder, if I actually live launched, how much more revenue could I have generated in 2019? So I'm super happy that revenue increased by 15%, all through a pretty passive funnel, but it does make me wonder. The next thing that went well for me in 2019 was I created a group coaching program. This was a big win because I've wanted to do this since 2018 when I shut down my one-on-one coaching. And it was just something that I had a mindset block around. I couldn't figure out how to do it. And in 2019, I just put like the bare bones of a program together. I didn't even write a sales page. I wrote a Google Doc and I just released it to my students essentially. And we started a group coaching program. It's the Adventure Club. And we started very, very small, kind of as an experiment for me and for my students to see how we all like it. From my end, I really like it. And of course, we're gonna grow it in 2020 now that I know it's a great fit for my business. The last thing I wanna mention that went well for me in 2019 was there was no burnout. So personally, when I look back on all of my reviews that I've written, Typically, at one point in the year, I feel burned out, or I feel like I want to burn my business down, or I want to just be done with it. I don't recall ever feeling that in 2019, so I consider that a win. And in addition to that, I took almost 3 weeks off at the end of 2019 in December. I was working lightly here and there, but that was the closest thing I've had to a long vacation in a long time. So that's a big win for me in my books. I truly believe it's because of my point number 1, team, systems, processes, that I didn't experience burnout and I took a vacation. Let's talk about what didn't go so well in 2019. This list isn't as long as the first one, but I think it's important to address where I could improve in 2020. So the first thing that didn't go well for me was this huge, insane website project that I took on in May, and we didn't actually move to our new website until October. So like any classic website project, this one took twice as long and cost twice as much. I'm talking to the tune of $8,800 over budget. And by the way, all of the numbers that I'm going to share with you in today's video are in Canadian dollars, so just FYI. So I decided in May to move my website off of Squarespace over to WordPress. This was because I had noticed my organic traffic was slowly declining every single month since it peaked at the beginning of 2019. So I was trying to figure out why, and I reached out to an SEO agency and they said, you know, we can't really help you unless you move to a WordPress site. So in May, I committed to this project. I committed about $8,000 for it, and I hired the SEO agency to help with the migration because I didn't want to lose my organic traffic. So the plan was to launch the new website in August. It actually didn't go up until October. And it took 3 migrations to finally get it live and get it working properly. So 3 migrations was extremely stressful. The first one happened by accident, where my test site went live in August when I was on a vacation. And then we tried to make the second site live in September, but there were technical issues. And then we finally got it right in October when we officially made the site live. So it was truly a huge headache and it cost way more than I expected. But the good news is, since we made the switch to WordPress and since the migration was successfully completed, we have seen a steady growth in organic traffic back to our website. And that truly was the whole point of this project. So I am happy to finally see results from all of the headache and tears that it took to get there. What I learned from that experience was that when I hired the developer and designer for the project initially, I was thinking in terms of how do I save as much money as possible. I wasn't thinking in terms of the mindset of the business I wanted to have. So if I wanted to run $1 million business, what would $1 million Elise decide about who to hire? So I kind of hired the person who had the best deal or the best bang for my buck. And I knew it was a bit of a risk and it didn't pay off in the end, but lesson learned for me. The second thing that didn't go so well in 2019 was the BALI retreat, in the sense that it didn't actually drive profit to my business. Now, this is the second in-person retreat that I've hosted. The first one was in Portugal and I didn't ever make money on that one. And so when I decided to host the BALI retreat, I thought, I'm gonna do it differently now and actually make it a revenue stream that's profitable in my business. Well, after the retreat, I looked at the numbers and again, it wasn't profitable. I basically charged enough to cover my expenses. And in that sense, when you're not earning money from a revenue stream, the experience itself really has to be worth it. And I can happily say it was worth it for me, but ultimately, because it wasn't a profitable revenue stream, I did decide to put retreats on pause in my business for now. What I learned from this experience was the whole idea of hosting retreats came out of my warm audience telling me, Elise, if you host something, we'll come. And I didn't really do my research into how to make this a profitable stream in my business. I just did it because people said they would show up and it seemed fun. So that's the lesson learned. I need to do my research, especially when I'm going to introduce a new revenue stream in my business. And going forward, since that BALI experience, I definitely do that now. The third thing that didn't go so well in 2019 was looking back, I can see that I kind of got sucked into a funnel black hole. Like, I had this one automated webinar funnel that was accounting for majority of my revenue, and I became obsessed with it. I was either tweaking the pages or playing around with the ads or trying someone else's new funnel methodology, and it just started to become like a Franken-funnel. But I was so deep in it, I couldn't even see that. So it wasn't until the end of 2019 where I decided to kind of put my tweaking on pause and just let it run as is and then create a new product. It wasn't until then that I could see where I was obsessed and stuck in this funnel black hole, when really I wish that I'd been more focused on, looking at the market, looking at what was interesting to people, and staying fresh with a fresh product. So that was a really good lesson learned for me. The last thing that didn't go so well for me in 2019 was my return on ad spend actually dropped. Now, I'm probably not alone in this. If you've ever spent money on ads, you've probably seen a difference in 2019 versus 2018. But again, this just fueled my obsession. I was obsessed with getting that return back. And so as a result, I jumped around from ad agencies to contractors to Facebook ads courses, and I just never really felt like I found my groove there. And at the end of the day, we still did get a return from our ads. It was about 2x, but all year I was chasing a 3x, a 4x return. And really, when I read my report from 2018, I was doing the exact same thing. So in 2018 and 2019, I still hadn't really nailed down this Facebook ads thing. To be honest, I don't think I have yet, but I hope to kind of hit my groove there in 2020. Here is the point where I like to share what I'm going to work on in 2020. So I actually looked at my 2018 review and what I wanted to work on in 2019. And what I said I wanted to do was to do less better. And when I look back on my 2019 year, I think that's true. I truly do feel like I did less, meaning I wasn't the one writing my blogs. I hired a content manager and expanded my team in that way. Plus, we also increased our revenue and I was able to pay myself more. So all of that tells me that I think I achieved that goal. And definitely going through the Clockwork program and hiring my amazing team member, I have a handful, but one full-time person, hiring my amazing team members certainly helped me do that. So what am I working on for 2020? This year, I've decided I just have a straight up revenue numbers goal, and my goal is to hit $1 million in revenue. Yup, that is just a straight up numbers goal. I don't think I've ever had this goal before, especially at the $1 million revenue mark, but I'm really excited for this to be my goal. It feels like it's a stretch, but also very attainable, especially with all the momentum we built through 2019 with the blog and the YouTube channel and the Facebook ads and the funnels that are converting. And I'm really excited to be doing this a year from now and telling you, did we do it or not? So that's the goal, $1 million in revenue, here we come. Next up in my review is covering what this year's theme is going to be. So for 2019, I decided that my theme would be essentialism. The way of the essentialist is the pursuit of less but better. It's living by design, not by default. And I truly think I achieved that. So for this year's theme, 2020, oh my gosh, and I just realized how fitting this is because it's the year 2020, the year of perfect vision. But my theme for 2020 is straight up visibility. Just like a concept I teach in my product Story Vault, visibility is the season that I'm focused on for my 2020 year. What do I mean by that? I mean more YouTube videos, more ads, more content, more podcasts, press, all the ways to get in front of the audience that I want to reach. So this is the year where I just feel like my channels are in place, my confidence is where it needs to be to really put myself out there. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen. Now, without further ado, let me share with you my final stats for 2019. Here we go. So in terms of travel, I had 8 trips, including Bali, San Diego, Amsterdam, Vancouver ×2, Boston, Costa Rica, and Mexico. This is actually down by half. In 2018, I traveled to 15 locations, so clearly my priorities shifted in 2019. In 2019, I worked 71 days remotely, which is definitely down from 106 days from the year before. In terms of revenue, we were just shy of 400,000, but we maintained a profit of 20%. In terms of my course students, we are up to 2,166, which is just incredible that you've decided to enter my world, and we are certainly up from the prior year, which was 685. In terms of coaching clients in 2019, I had 12, and that is a little less than the year prior, which was 16. With email subscribers, we are at 26,589, which is higher than the year before, which was just about 17,000. With Instagram followers, we're pretty much the same, 77,400, and it was the same as last year. So a little bit of growth, but I don't mind being steady too, because I really pivoted in 2019, especially when I grew my Instagram. I was all about travel, but in 2019, I became more about online business for entrepreneurs. So I know I lost a lot of followers, but I'm hoping that I gained some good quality followers too. In terms of Pinterest followers, we are up to 5,800, which is higher than the year before, which was 4,600. With my Facebook page, we are up to 4,254 fans compared to 3,400 the year before. With Twitter, we have 2,546 followers, where we had 2,514 the year before, so a little bit of growth. Then we have our YouTube subscribers. I'm so excited about this one because we have 6,611 YouTube subscribers, whereas last year I had 343. And now for my final stat in terms of my team members. I currently have 3 contractors for my agency called Canopy, and I have 3 team members for my personal brand, Elise Darma. And comparing that to last year, that's exactly the same. So that again proves to me that I made the business more efficient in 2019. With the same amount of people, I was able to increase the revenue and maintain profit margin and pay myself more. So that's pretty sweet. And there you have it, my 2019 business year in review. If you found this video helpful or insightful at all, drop a comment right below this video and let me know what you found the most useful, because I never want to just share numbers for the sake of it. I also want to share my lessons learned so that you can apply it to your business too. And of course, if you ever want to know the nitty-gritties of my business, including all the funnels, the automation, the hows to my content creation, then I invite you to check out my group coaching program. That's where I take you behind the scenes of my business day in and day out. There's literally nothing that's hidden from you. I'm totally unfiltered because I want you to have the success that you desire for yourself. So if you're interested in working with me as your coach to hit your 2020 goals and make that perfect vision that you have for yourself, then check out the link right below this video to sign up for my group coaching program. To ease and revenue, I'll see you in the next video. In the dead of Toronto winter, let's talk about what I'm working towards this year. Last year in my this year. Who's honking? God, traffic.